Hello there and welcome to this chill stream with myself, Stevo, where I'm just going to chat absolute nonsense for probably about an hour, maybe a bit longer, depending on what the chat's like. Hence the YouTube chat league, which I still haven't opened yet. I'll be dealing with that tomorrow. In fact, I'll briefly talk about that now. So there are many people that are, I say many people, Harry Dawson, who's absolutely desperate for a poxy league to be open to add to the thousands that they're already in. But anyway, the YouTube chat league will be sorted out tomorrow. So during the stream at some point tomorrow evening when me and Jason are live, I will be announcing who has won or has been rewarded the opportunity to join in with that league next year, or this year more specifically. It's all ironically based on last season's participation. So if you were a regular contributor to the live streams or you commented regularly on our videos / streams, then there's a very high chance you're probably going to get invited. I don't know how many names are actually listed on there, but it's enough. It's enough to... I think it's around 75 names total. I think I'll be removing, I think from last year, 10 names, because I didn't hear me and Jason didn't hear a single peep from them for the whole of the season. So they will be just deleted from the YouTube chat league. And thankfully, of the top 10 from last year, I think I'm kicking out 2 from the top 10, maybe 3. So 7 of the top 10 people that ended up in the YouTube chat league, that ended up in the top 10, in the YouTube chat league, they 7 of them are automatically in. To name a couple of people that weren't in it last year but are in it this year, so Dally Pool and Cinnamon, those 2 individuals, they'll be added to the league this year. Like I say, it's just a chill stream. Today is... so put it this way, I recorded at Whipsnade Zoo because this morning the weather was genuinely really, really nice in London. Put on the old teletext just to check what the weather was like, and it said it's going to be raining from a roughly 12 o'clock onwards. And I thought, right, I can see the cloud coming over. I brought my washing in. To hell with it. I'm going to go to Whipsnade Zoo just to pass a few hours. So I get to Whipsnade Zoo. It's still dry. Brilliant. Just about to start recording the video. Just like that. It just starts to spit with rain. Thought nothing of it. And then it just got heavier and heavier and heavier. And I'm just like... this is getting on my nerves. I mean, the zoo itself was absolutely rammed today. I've never been to Whipsnade Zoo with it being that busy. Admittedly, I go during the week. Admittedly, it's normally during school. So going there, I got there for about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, roughly. And it was absolutely heaving. It was like going to, not literally, but it was like going to Download Festival. What, the festival you've been once? Yeah, back in 2005. Yeah. So I just got there thinking this is going to be ridiculously busy, and like I said, I was surprised at how busy it was, even like the area where the bears are, because they got bears, and it was just about 30 people just lined up while the rain was coming down. And so I actually did record a video, but I just said I am not uploading this to YouTube. It was, I would argue it was probably worse than a members video. I mean, if I get anybody commenting on the video afterwards that are members and want me to upload the 2 videos, I'll upload them to members, but I wouldn't release them publicly. They were very, very, very angry videos regarding things that Llama was talking about in his stream earlier, and it was nothing what Llama was him saying. It was more what fantasy football is becoming, or FPL is becoming, and I'm just getting sick. I'm actually getting to the stage now where I just find the game's just dying around us without us realising it. Like, the more popular it's getting, the more it's becoming more miserable to play. And I don't know, let us know in the chat. Just let us know in the chat what you think about the game, because something hit home yesterday. An individual on Twitter, I don't know who they are, I don't know if they're a fan of the show, I don't know if they've watched every single video / stream for the past year, for the past 2 years, since we began 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was, I don't know. But they basically put out a tweet and they just said, I wish people just played fantasy football. Like, in fact, you know what, fuck it, Nick, I will just read it. So I've got my phone on charge. And by the way, Natasha, if you are listening into this, sorry, but yep, the stream may go on and on and on. So the tweet read like this. So let me just bring this shit up. Good thing is, nobody tweets us, so here we are. Someone going by the name of, on Twitter, FPL Compulsion, in brackets, Mike. The state of FPL at the minute is a bit grim. I've been seeing a lot of people begging for FPL review to drop so that a computer can tell them what to put in their teams. I have no idea what FPL review is. I don't particularly care. I'm assuming it's some proxy algorithm, as Mike is saying here, to rate their teams. I've already seen it on various other threads or tweets or content creators releasing, my team got 95%, I'm so happy. Shut the fuck up. Fuck's sake. So, yeah, these algorithms that rate teams, like, fuck me, get a grip of yourself. No disrespect or anything, but you're that much of a fucking loser that you need a proxy rating algorithm to say, oh yeah, your team's going to get 97%. Brilliant. Fuck me. I mean, I'm a big enough loser as it is. And these accounts have got 100,000 followers. Where's the fun in that? Also, lots of people are genuinely scared to stray away from high effective ownership players because FPL holds so much weight in their minds. We need to start taking FPL at face value as a game. Yeah. A quick shout out to Elite FPL for being the only, I wouldn't go as far as to say the only, but for being content creators that I've seen voicing such concerns. To be fair, there are many content creators, I say many, I know of two, two casuals and Trigger Lips. They'll happily state it as it is. In fact, I tweeted Trigger Lips thanking him for just coming back to Twitter, because I find it absolutely hilarious what he comes out with, because it's true. What Trigger Lips says is true, and I just agree with everything he says. And the game really is just again, I took a picture of it, and I'm going to just, I hope I haven't deleted it. So unfortunately this comment was held for review, but unfortunately once I ticked it, it vanished. And I'm hoping I haven't deleted it. I think I have. I think I've deleted it. Brilliant. But it had words to the effect of, I've never understood why FPL has become a... Oh, here it is here. Right. I enjoy the rawness to your videos, bro. Bro. And I agree with a lot of stuff. FPL is now about AI and paying for stats and all that shit. That's why it was blocked, because of the word shit. And you have all these top content creators who just try to get you to buy it constantly. It becomes annoying. Like it used to be a game for fun. Now it's gone silly, and if people don't agree with your opinion, they abuse you personally. Yeah. It's pathetic. I just enjoy watching football and picking the players I think will do well. Not pay for a robot or get an app for free to tell me who I should have. And like you say, there's only a few content creators you watch, and it's the same for me. Don't give the low-life haters all the... And yeah, I just find it so fascinating that people, rather than wanting to talk about their teams and just actually engaging with their community and just talking about why they've brought in X player and Z player, they just want to say, what have you got Eze for? You're a fucking moron for having him. How dare you get Alvarez in your team? You're a fucking moron. Sorry? Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to have the same players as you, and him, and him, and him, and him, and her, and him, and him, and him, and her, and her, and him, and her. Oh, wait a minute, that's a man with a beard. Listen to Total Steve-O, you'll understand that reference. And him, and him, and him. Oh, we've all got the same team. Because you don't like the fact that I or him or her have got a different player. Oh, but don't get me wrong. When someone, a friend of mine, sends me a team which reads as follows. Now it's finding the fucking team, isn't it? It's brilliant. Oh, here we go. Here we are. Right. This is his team. Ramsdale, Edison, Saliba, Timber, Guay, Varane, Kera of, I think that's Aston Villa, or West Ham, Rice, Bruno Guimaraes, Lerma, Paulinho, Rodrigo, Haaland, Pedro, and Cuckoo. I'm looking at that and going, half that team ain't even going to play. Half that team are just defenders. Now, basic advice for this individual would be you need players that will actually be the forefront of their teams, that will get the goals and the assists. And I can help you with that. If you genuinely want 3 Arsenal defenders, and he's an Arsenal fan, does that mean then you're not confident in them scoring in the opening few fixtures? If that's the case, then crack on with those 3 defensive assets. If you're that confident in, for argument's sake, Declan Rice performing really well for you, crack on, the same as Paulinho, Rodrigo and everything. But we all know that ain't gonna, for this game, that ain't gonna work. However, if this individual came to me and said, look, Steve, what advice then would you give? It would be, well, if you want Man City players, I'd be looking at their midfield and the guaranteed starters. Doesn't have to be Foden, but one of the guarantees. So even if you wanted Grealish, fine. Why do you like Grealish? Well, because he actually started the majority of the games for Man City last season. He seemed to be pivotal to everything that Pep Guardiola did. Brilliant. Cool. Go for it. If you're confident in Grealish, great. Fulham. Maybe not go with Paulinho. He's probably better Sky FF player. In FPL, it's pointless. Go for Willian. Or whatever midfielder. Andreas. As a simple example. Varane, perfectly fine for Man United. Cheap, 5 million, 0.5 cheaper than Shaw. Just simple things like that. But for the majority of us, majority of people that look at this team here, it's, you shouldn't be having Trent in your team to start with. Why? What effect does it have on your team? Surely, I've said this for years, surely you want an advantage over your rival. Why do I want the same team as Jason? I can have 8 or 9 players similar to him, but if he comes to me and says, oh, I've gone with a differential in Nkunku for Chelsea. Brilliant. Why? And then he explains his reasoning as to why he's gone for Nkunku of Chelsea and I've gone for Jackson. If he comes to me and he says, do you know what, Steve-O? You've gone Alvarez. I'm not confident in his minutes. That's why I've gone with Foden. Brilliant. 2 differentials. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to say to him, nah, mate, you need to have Jackson. You need to have Alvarez in your team. What's that? You've gone with Onana instead of Ramsdale? Are you mad? I just find FPL players so fucking weird. I had a guy message me a 50-page document essay on my Poxy YouTube channel where I just upload Sky Fantasy things, just sharing my thoughts about my team moving with the Sky Fantasy game. I've got it all written down here. It's actually over there. All written down, my plan in the game. Yes, I'll take some general ideas from James from Planet FPL or the guy that I follow, that I subscribe to on YouTube. I'll get a general idea, but actually, the advice that pretty much both of them give is what? Make sure you have a captain every game. That's pretty much it. And guess what? Every single game week, I have got a captain. Now, whether this is the first time I've ever played Sky, so what does this guy do? I mean, I thank you for spending time writing a 50-page document essay, but to summarise, it basically said, just change your whole team. What? Why? What do you care? Surely you're my rival. You're wanting to win 50,000, whatever the fucking prize money is, and yet you're telling me shouldn't do that. If he had commented and said, do you know what, mate? I actually like your plan. Good luck. And I hope you enjoy your first season in Sky FF. You'll learn a lot. Brilliant. Thank you. But to say, yeah, your team's shit. Change all your players. Great. There was a guy, again, may as well name check them. In fact, I could just do it on here. I just realised I can literally do it on here. So, if it works, on here, on my video that I did the other day, I think it was at work, I can't remember. That's it. Anonymous Super Tuber. I think he may be a member, I don't know, but oh no, he's a subscriber. I agree with what I was saying in that 10-minute video. Why not jump on Chelsea early? What's the point in waiting and seeing and chasing points, forcing an early wild card? I'm on both Chilwell and Cuckoo. Brilliant. Someone replied, calling at Stoned Villain. I think Jackson might be a real gem. Looks like he's playing in the number 9 and has been electric in pre-season. They're both fantastic picks, both nailed, and obviously Jackson has the most advanced role. I'm just more drawn to Nkuku because I believe he'll be on free kicks and penalties, and he's world class. Jackson is still a bit raw. Owning both is a good move. There we are. Done. This individual, anonymous super tuber, isn't saying, shouldn't have Jackson. You're an idiot. You've got to have Nkuku like me. Sorry? Oh, okay, I'll just change my team to your team then, so we're on exactly the same points. Brilliant. My favourite aspect of playing fantasy football is the rivalries. I will continue saying this on this channel. I think one of my favourite listens back on this channel was when it was, I think it was 2 years ago when it was coronavirus era. And all I was doing was going out for walks and I was just bored out of my mind. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to listen to when me and Jason covered virtual FPL. Those streams were fucking incredible for one reason. They're incredible because of a rivalry that was developing between him, me, and, well, him and John Harris, but he was desperate to catch me. There was a rivalry specifically between him and John Harris. And listening to those streams is so entertaining because you got Jason legitimately getting furious at the fact that John Harris's Sterling captain is doing so well. And yet Jason's pick of Salah captain failed. And he's waiting there and he's commentating on the games and it's, oh no, Sterling scored again, John. And then they're just working out all the points and stuff. Brilliant. I haven't got John Harris going, oh, what do you think about that, Jason? I'm thinking about getting the same team as you, so You know, what's the point in playing if we're just going to have the same team? I'm just going to copy you, mate. I just think that's what's so special about fantasy football is your rivalries and your mini leagues. Why do I want this? No, there's nothing wrong with having a 10-plate team. If you want to have a 10-plate team, go for it. Fine. Brilliant. Nothing wrong with that at all. But don't fucking come to me and say, you're wrong. You're an idiot. You're a fool for having those players. Anyway, let's see what people are saying in the chat, if anybody's even bothering watching. There's a few people. A few poor bastards tuning into this shite. If you're happy, the listener's happy. I heard that episode yesterday. Absolutely hilarious. Oh, brilliant, the chat's gone down. Here we are. Right, let's go. Let's go all the way to the top. Hello, Kevin Kelly. Hello, Odin. Connor, quick question. Would you bring in and start Onana over Edison, or would you keep Edison in for at least the first 3 game weeks? So, I know nothing about Onana. I don't have a fucking clue about him, to be honest with you. The only thing I know is that everybody's going on about the fact that he's like the world's greatest goalkeeper. You'd be mad not to have him. Now, my simple understanding will be, and this is the most simplest understanding possible, is that Onana's just going to get you the save points. Edison, you're going to get a clean sheet against Burnley. You ain't going to get save points in that game. So at most you're going to get 6 points, whereas Man United are home to Wolves. Wolves like to take a pot shot from outside the box with their... Oh, wait a minute, they've got no players anymore, have they? Yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, Wolves like to take a load of pot shots. So I think from that point of view, and the fact that Man United do allow quite a lot of shots on goal, I think that Onana's got the safety net of those save points. I mean, even in game week 2, Edison against Newcastle, is there a clean sheet in that? Yeah. Is there a save point in that? Yeah. But again, it's all based on percentages, isn't it? Do I expect Burnley to score against Man City? I actually do, to be completely honest with you. I don't know why I've just got in my head 3-1 to Man City. And then against Newcastle, do I expect Newcastle to score against Man City? Fuck yeah. But again, that's just my opinion. But if you're basing it on percentages, there's a higher chance of Man City keeping a clean sheet against Burnley. I would say a 60% chance against Burnley. Against Newcastle, a 40% chance of keeping a clean sheet. And then in game week 3, why game week 3? Why just the first few? You don't want to be wasting a transfer on a goalkeeper. But then Man United are home to Nottingham Forest. Again, I would expect Nottingham Forest to come out and attack, but a clean sheet in that, again, there's a high chance of that. Whereas Man City away at Sheffield United, I mean, that's about an 80% chance of a clean sheet against Sheffield United, whereas Man United at home to Nottingham Forest is about, again, a 65-70% chance. So, in a long-winded way, you go with Onana, just for the save points. Hello, Mal Dillon. Hello, Ricky Kiley. Hello, Ricky Gervais. Odin saying, I think Darwin Núñez is interesting as a differential, a risky one though. I have seen the fact that he's been scoring for fun across this pre-season, and I think that the reality of the situation is, can Liverpool score against Chelsea in game week 1? Yeah. I expect that to be a lot of goals in that game. Game week 2, do I expect them to score against Bournemouth? Yeah. Game week 3, same thing. Do I expect them to do really well against a team that I don't even have a clue they're playing against because I'm not even looking at it right now? It is Newcastle away. Yes. So where do you put Darwin Núñez as a percentage of him scoring in those 3 games? Well, against Chelsea and against Bournemouth, I would say scoring 2 goals in 2 games, there's about a 65 to 70% chance of him doing so. but obviously there's more chance against Bournemouth. Against Newcastle, Liverpool, they kind of enjoy playing Newcastle, but again, scoring three goals in 3 game weeks, I do agree with you. I think Darwin is a very, very, very good option, and if you've got that 0.5 spare, maybe to upgrade in my case, a Jackson to a Darwin, for argument's sake. You've got a proven Premier League... you've got a player who played in the Premier League last season, did really well, within reason. He missed a lot of chances, I understand that. He's now adapted to the Premier League. He now knows what the Premier League's all about. So, I think, why not? If you want to get three strikers in for your team, and you're hesitant on the third one, can't go wrong with Nunes. Can't go wrong. Odin saying, AI generated content is annoying. Oh, it's just going to be pathetic. It's going to be It's going to be awful. New crowd saying, I hope Jackson becomes the number 1 striker, and they also don't have anyone else. So, Nkuku is more of a shadow striker. Yeah, I think that, look, based on the way the pre-season is going at the moment, Nicholas Jackson looks like he's going to be the number 1 New Crams. Gabriel Dorop saying, this is the only FPL related content I have watched so far this season, and that's also mainly to check in on how you're doing. Going to make my first draft next weekend. Oh wow, you haven't actually made a draft yet. I don't blame you. I genuinely don't blame you. I think that the game gets... I understand why the game gets released as soon as it does. I just think it gets released too early because... Again, I was making this point in the videos I made earlier. It's all about percentages today. I'm about 75-80% now close to muting a load of fantasy football content accounts on Twitter. I'm just getting bored of let's get real here, the terminology I used was pornographic style thumbnails. They're just getting more and more stupid, more and more extreme just to get the clicks. I'm finding it a bit embarrassing, to be honest with you. These individuals have already got the audience. I've said this once, I'll say it twice, I'll say it 1 billion times. I wish these big content creators just did shit like this. Just went out, did their normal everyday thing, grabbed the phone, and just started recording themselves and chatting absolute shite into a microphone, or more specifically into a camera, and just talk about their thoughts and feelings about, number 1, the fantasy football team, what's going on with their life, and what they're doing at the time. I personally would enjoy that a lot more than just, I'm going to answer your questions. These are your best FPL defenders, midfielders, strikers, goalkeepers. With the typical thumbnail of... In fact, let's put it up on the screen, shall we? Let's see if YouTube click this as the get-go. So we'll put on the big camera. So it'll be... I just need to move that up, don't I, for the audience. So we get the usual thumbnails of... Or... Fucking hell, man. Jesus Christ. I get it. I genuinely get how it all works. But I reiterate this point. These people have got... And I will always say this as well, this isn't just fantasy football. If you are a ginormous content creator, you can do anything you want. The problem is, and I see this a lot in the fitness industry is the worst. The fitness industry is horrific for this. You think fantasy football's bad? Jesus Christ, try the fitness world. Awful, awful, awful. And when you go on their channel, it's the same old thing. It's... Oh, I've done something that's really creative and lots of people watch the video, so I'm just going to copy that. Then they copy it, doesn't get as many views because people are like, yeah, I've already seen it. So they do something more extreme and more extreme and more extreme. Their viewership gets lower and lower and lower. And then they start doing content collaborations with other YouTube fitness channels. So then it grows again. And then it goes back to normal. And then it just gets to the point of where people are just bored of that person. That's it. And I've seen very, very large fitness influencers go through severe, fucked up psychological issues because they're playing up to some poxy YouTube algorithm rather than just being secure with the shit that they do and just enjoy what they're doing. But all they're doing is just forcing it down your throats because it's what YouTube wants. No, it's not. The reason why people subscribe to your channel is because they enjoy you behind the camera. You've already got 2.3 million subscribers. What next? You've already openly admitted on the various podcasts that you go on, yeah, I'm a millionaire, I could just quit my job, I could just quit everything right now and just live happily. So you've just been on a by the way, this isn't just one podcast I've heard with fitness influencers, this is several. We all say the same thing. Yeah, I could just quit everything right now and just live happily ever after. Well, do it then. Why don't you? For the past hour, you've been telling us about the struggles of doing content. And then during the podcast, you then say, I could just quit all this and just live a happy life. Do it then. So you'd rather ruin your own mental health than just enjoy your life. So what you're pretty much saying is everything that you do is fake. God, it's fucking terrible. So where did that go again? Newcratum saying, how do you make the YouTube chat league? So basically, I mean, you're in it, but as long as you participate in the FPL chat like people are now, this is last year, by the way, then you're going to be in it. Odin saying, if players with high ownership don't deliver in the first few game weeks, prices could go down, so just pick the ones you want and don't listen to too much experts other than the generalists. And this is the thing, but when we as the consumer like to follow, or at least try and interact with the content creators that we enjoy interacting with, but they're the ones that kind of spam the chat, or more specifically spam the Twitter feeds and spam the YouTube algorithms with quite literally the same copy and paste content, and you build that over the hundreds and hundreds of other channels that do exactly the same, it does skew your mind. It's a psychological thing, and the only way, like Gabriel Derop's doing, is that pretty much try your fucking hardest to avoid it. That's why I say, if you enjoy this channel, pretty much stick with this and maybe stick with another couple, but that's about it. If you enjoy someone else's content, stick with them, don't bother with us. But to be constantly in various different streams and trying to find that right answer, I've never ever understood it. I generally don't understand it. I really like the Eze pick. So many, just a nice guy saying I like the Eze pick. So do I. He's going to be a key feature for Crystal Palace. Now, I am monitoring. No, I'm not. I am monitoring the situation regarding Crystal Palace. Their friendlies haven't exactly inspired confidence, and I think Eze started quite a few of them. And all he did was get all his attacking returns in one match. Now, Eze can easily be dropped down to, let's just say for argument's sake, Enciso from Brighton, if we find out there's a high chance that he could be a starter. Because once you find out particular individuals like that could be absolute gold in this game, like Enciso. Admittedly, Brighton's midfield situation is a bit all over the place, but Enciso last season, 4 goals, 3 assists in 794 minutes. Apparently he's a very, very good player. Opening 3 fixtures are excellent. 2 relegation fodder teams in Luton and Wolves. West Ham at home, not great, but Brighton like to attack. Newcastle at home, not great, but again, all like to attack. Man United away, doesn't really put fear into me. Bournemouth at home. It's just once it gets to Aston Villa, Liverpool. So if for argument's sake, I don't feel confidence with Crystal Palace, even though, despite the fact that Crystal Palace's fixtures are actually pretty good from a goal scoring aspect. Sheffield United away, I can genuinely see them winning that like 1 or 2-0. And again, Eze's going to be the key man. Arsenal at home, you know, Crystal Palace are pretty decent at home. I can imagine that being like 1-1, 2-1 Arsenal, something like that. Brentford away, goals. Wolves at home, goals. Aston Villa away. Fulham at home, good. Man United away, not bad. Nottingham Forest at home. I think that Eze is worth every single penny of that 6.5 million. We know that Roy Hodgson is pretty much going to be building the team around him. So I think that going for him at 6.5 with those fixtures, from my perspective, is a complete no-brainer. I like it. Any Crystal Palace fans in here, prove me, well, tell me wrong, tell me right. I'm on Dylan saying Bowen or a similar 7 to 7.5 million midfielder would have been better instead of Grealish last year. Carl Hugo Elson, hello mate, saying you have a good team, Steve-O. Yes, this team here, if I'm completely honest with you, I am pretty settled on Estepinian. Actually, that's a lie. I'm set on Trent, Bell, Shaw, Areola, Colwill, so that's 5. Saka 6. Rashford 7. Haaland 8. So 8 of my 15 I'm pretty set on. And I'm within reason. The only slight changes I'm always kind of looking at are basically the Nicholas Jackson position, the Alvarez position, and what Martinelli's minutes are going to be. Well, we all know they're going to be about 55 to 60 minutes. We know he's a guaranteed starter. It's a case of how long he stays on the pitch for. But like I said, 55 to 60 minutes. That's the only downside to Martinelli. So maybe he could be somebody where I'm like, well, actually, maybe I could downgrade Martinelli to potentially Foden and upgrade Estepinian to Gabriel, and then Ramsdale to Onana. It's just little ideas, it's just slight changes here or there, but predominantly I'm going with the same teams, to be completely honest with you. Josh was saying, I don't disagree with the pay to rate my team, but 8 of your starting level template, I don't think many on Twitter are using AI to pick, just to use to justify why the picks there are good. They need it for well, yeah, you've just answered the point, Josh. They just use these things for validation and reassurance, but the problem is that they literally just rely on it. That's the problem. They're just so desperate to rely on it rather than actually just thinking, this is my thought process, I'm happy to go with it. There's not many things to answer here. How many clean sheets do you expect from TAA in the first 4 game weeks? 0. I think realistically, so history suggesting 0-0 against Chelsea, but it's not going to be 0-0. Bournemouth 85% chance, if not higher, they'll get a clean sheet. Newcastle away, no chance. Aston Villa at home, no chance. Wolves away, very good, even though it's the first 5. I'm getting him in for his attacking potential, that's it. But again, he's somebody that I'm kind of wavering on. But, well, I say he's a lock. He is a lock. But he's somebody where I can play around with the money. If I was to get rid of Trent, for example, it would be bringing in someone like Chilwell, just as a simple example. But right now, I'm just having him in for his attacking potential. But possibly, if I was to get rid of him, I'd be bringing him back for that Wolves game in game week 5, because I'm without going over it, I'm looking to wildcard quite early in this game this year. I think wildcard in game week 4 or 5 for me, where I can jump on and see what Tottenham are setting up as, Chelsea are setting up as underneath their new managers, how Man United performing, how Liverpool are performing, who's the key men for those particular teams, and just get on it as early as I can. Hello Tezza, good afternoon. Connor saying, I don't know if there's any Raya owners here. There isn't, even though people are picking him for some reason. But there's talk he'll be moving to Arsenal, while American international Matt Turner is linked with a Forest move. Yeah, Raya ain't going to Arsenal. They don't need him. They don't need him. Hello Denver, I saw your message in the casuals earlier on that you base a lot of stuff on my predictions, and I am really needing to look at the, not just predictions, but the history. I really do need to look into it and go, look, if, for argument's sake, if Liverpool's history against the opening 4 teams is terrible, maybe just avoid Trent, but that requires, I say, a lot of research. It doesn't really, does it? Oh, Matty's saying here, I was just about to say the game gets released too early, so you've got about 20 different... Yes, it ain't 20 content creators. It's more than that, posting pretty much the same team every day. It ain't 20. I mean, you probably could do it, but I don't even know how many accounts there are regarding... whatchamacallit? FPL. There's hundreds. Max saying here, I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on Alvarez. He'll be a guaranteed starter for the opening few fixtures. I think, as I said in the video yesterday, Pep Guardiola will be wanting him to try and fit into that. Well, he already fits into the team already, and I think that as a second striker alongside Haaland / just slightly behind, maybe to the right of him, I think he's a nailed on pick, and he always seems to do quite well. So I just think for 6.5 million, to hell with it. FPL Rubber Ducky's here. Fuck me. I was only listening to you this morning, live in my bedroom. And when I went to the zoo, I listened to the last hour over him there. Ducky was saying on the stream this morning, I would put Gabriella over Ramsdale and Nana over Shaw. No, I'd rather. When I was listening to this, I was thinking I'd rather have a double up of a Nana and Shaw than going with Gabriel. I just don't care about Gabriel. I genuinely do not care about Gabriel. Don't worry, I'll be putting 50p on him. Good afternoon, Harry Dawson. I was slagging you off earlier. Max Roberts, for some reason, super chatted. Thank you. I've just answered the question. Denver saying, I'm so glad I went cold on FPL content. Just getting into FPL now for the new season. Yeah, again, just pick and choose the content creators you enjoy. Just pick and choose the content creators you enjoy. Try not to be swayed to go over to other channels because they got a bigger presence. There's nothing wrong. If you want to go and listen to it, fine. But I personally would rather listen to the independent stuff, like casuals, like Rubber Ducky, etc. In fact, here there is there. Rubber Ducky saying there's not enough Brighton with their early fixtures. Honestly, trust me, I just do not give a shit about Brighton. I've got more confidence in the likes of Crystal Palace as an argument, based on just the end of last season, where I feel that they were just scoring goals for fun and everything was just going through Eze. I just think with their opening fixture, the thing with Brighton and seeing what Az is writing as well, people just don't know what team to choose or which assets will be playing for Brighton. Could I get in Matoma for Eze instead? Yeah. I don't want to. I genuinely don't want to. I did have Ferguson. If Ferguson was nailed, he'd be in my team ahead of Jackson. Ferguson legitimately would be in my team ahead of Jackson, but I just have no interest in Jackson. In fact, with Ramsdale, I actually really like Ramsdale for saves. And you said this morning on the show that, you know, if they do concede, it's usually down to him. I don't know the exact stats. I do know what, I don't even care. I just base it on eye test. But he does seem to save quite a lot. And their opening fixtures, I'd like to think a clean sheet against Nottingham Forest. A few save points against Crystal Palace in their Monday night game where they draw 1-1. Fulham at home. There's a bit of disarray going on over there, isn't there? I think I'd like to see a clean sheet there. Man United, no chance. Everton away. Didn't they lose there? 1-0 or something? Dan, let us know. I know you're on holiday, but let us know. Spurs at home, forget it. Bournemouth. It's mainly the save points potential, but honestly, I'd rather get a Nana in. And then, on that point of view, just then have only 2 Arsenal attackers. Because I'm just not trustworthy of Gabriel because obviously with defenders you're not getting save points, where at least with Ramsdale potentially you could get that one single point. But obviously, I mean, last year he did all right in the game. He was 5th behind Raya. We all know that the cheaper goalkeepers always do very, very well. Alisson, Pope. But they're 5.5. I still can't get my head around the fact they've priced Sarr at 5 million in the game. That is a fucking piss take. But certainly the likes of Leno underneath Ramsdale, just literally 1 point behind him. You know, there's 23 points between Ramsdale and Raya. There's nothing in it. I'm happy. Pickford is somebody actually. If of the 2 goalkeepers I was thinking of choosing, in fact 3. There's 3 goalkeepers that I look at here and I think maybe even 4 actually. There are 4 goalkeepers where I think, you know what? You could be a decent replacement for Ramsdale. And they are Martinez, but his fixtures aren't great. Fabianski, who I think hasn't done anything wrong to lose his place. Opening 4 fixtures decent, but then there's an horrific run. Man City, Liverpool, Sheffield United, clean sheet. Newcastle, Aston Villa, horrible. But certainly West Ham from game week 10. Everton, Brentford, Nottingham Forest, Burnley, Crystal Palace, Spurs, Fulham, Wolves. Beautiful fixtures. Potentially maybe look at him. But Everton, thing with Everton is that I heard Sean this morning talking about Everton and how, well, underneath Dyche, you know, they're not. It's all a myth. They're not going to be that defensively strong. And in fact, I agree that he's going to be an early contender for first managerial sacking. In fact, I may even put 50p on him to be the first manager to be fired. Fired, that is. Because I would think that the board would be expecting a minimum of 7 points from those opening 4 fixtures. Fulham, Villa, Wolves, Sheffield United. They ain't getting anything out of Aston Villa. That ain't happened. Against Fulham, they would be expecting to win that. Tough game, but with Fulham in disarray at the moment, I think they should be winning that. Wolves at home. Wolves are a relegation contender this season, and Sheffield United definitely a relegation contender, and they should be winning those 2 games. So 6 points minimum out of those 2, and then hopefully getting a point from those opening 2. But really, realistically, you should be getting for 9. They should be aiming for 9. But I know what Dyche is like. And I don't care that he worked miracles at Burnley. The football was fucking atrocious. And Everton fans are not going to be enjoying this season. Yeah, they'll nick the odd result here or there. But honestly, the football is going to be I mean, even in pre-season, I've seen some of the results. Again, it doesn't inspire much confidence in me. Hello, Llama. Exactly. Try harder rethinking your team, yeah. Write a 50-page document essay. David is saying, I'm going for a 4-5-1 this year. 3 Arsenal mids, Salah and Foden plus any other. You're going for 3 Arsenal mids, so I'm assuming Saka, Odegaard and Martinelli. I'm assuming. Hello, Gravy Dave. Is everyone picking Salah? No, if anything, no one is doing it. Hugo saying, what is the point of fake drafts? It's called just making content. That is all that's about. It's called. Are we all back? Yep, there we are. Done. It's all about making content, to be honest with you. Again, I reiterate, I just wish more content creators, the larger ones, actually produced more real content that's a bit more relatable. Good afternoon, Matthew Zaishi. What lineup do you expect Man City to put up against Burnley, the same team that they did today? So I don't know the exact lineup that they put out today, but it was I think it was FPL Rhino that said that that's what he would be expecting game week 1 to be as. And God's sake, I hate the fact that the friendlies, there we are. Oh, they lost 2-1. Diaz scoring. So it was Ederson in goal, Walker, he's pretty much off though, isn't he? But Walker, Diaz, Laporte, John Stones, Rodri, Silva, Alvarez, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Haaland. Well, you could probably replace Kyle Walker with a Kanji for argument's sake. And that's pretty much about it. I mean, is Cancelo in our minds? If he becomes a regular starter underneath Klopp? Could he be coming into our forefront? I mean, is he 6 million? Cancelo? You know, didn't he do pretty well did he go to Bayern Munich last season? Is that who he went to? Oh, I see, he's 6. John Stones 5.5, Ake 5 million, Akanji 5 million, Diaz 5.5, Walker 5, Laporte 5, Cancelo, who was literally told to fuck off by Pep Guardiola, 6. Fucking hell, it's just absolute nonsense. Yeah, Max isn't convinced that Alvarez is a starter. I think he will be. Milan Milic is saying, I'm punting on Mateta instead of Eze. Just let us know why. What is the reason as to why you're punting on Mateta? Gravy Dave saying, Mark Southern's told us all the sheep to pick Pedro. I may pick him. He also said about getting Salah. I mean, it was a very good... whatchamacallit? It was a very good stream, I must admit. The FPL rules to learn from and go by this season, I always find them quite interesting. City played with Alvarez and Haaland in the front two today when they lost to Bayern Munich 2-1. Lama confirmed that. Robert saying, any opinions who I might change my team team keeper? I'm not reading any of that. Come tomorrow. Just come tomorrow on the show if you want to talk about it. Gravy Dave saying, Steve, what is your thoughts on rotating goalkeepers? I've never done it, but Flecken and Leno look good. You say Flecken, apparently he's looked absolutely terrible in pre-season. Flecken has looked absolutely pants in pre-season. But rotating goalkeepers, it used to be a thing about 6-7 years ago, where you would get 2 4.5 goalkeepers. You would essentially, quite literally, do what you're saying, rotate. From my perspective, the only problem that I have with that is that you just know what always happens is, for argument's sake, you put Leno in goal against Everton. Oh, Flecken has gone and got a clean sheet against Tottenham in a 1-0 win and gets 2 save points and gets 1 bonus. So that's what, 6, 7, 8, 9 points, where Leno conceded in a 2-1 loss and he got 1 save point, so he comes out of it with 2 points. This is the problem with it. And then the following game week, it's, I'm going to play Fulham's Leno against, Brentford. Brentford again win 1-0. Oh, Flecken's got the clean sheet. Following week, right then, I'm definitely playing Ray. Right, this time I'm playing Flecken. No matter what, I'm definitely playing Flecken against Crystal Palace. Brentford win. They beat Crystal Palace 3-1. He gets 0 saves, 2 points. Arsenal, on the other hand, Leno has had a worldie and has got three save points in a 3-1 loss, and he's outscored Raya by 2 points or whatever it is, and it just goes on and on and on. I didn't even talk about Pickford, did I? So with Everton's fixtures, for argument's sake, he could be somebody that I could drop down to, Ramsdale down to, and then upgrade. Well, have that 0.5 in the bank. So Pickford's, as we mentioned, their early fixtures are very good. And for an individual who, Everton last year were absolutely awful. And he was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9th overall, 3 points clear of Edison. For a team that were conceding on a semi-regular basis 4 goals, 5 goals, 6 goals. Pickford at 4.5 is not a bad shout. And I would expect him this season to do better than 124 points. Not that you'd have him the whole season, but again, those opening few fixtures. A team that I think, or more specifically players that I think we are overlooking, are the Aston Villa defenders and Ollie Watkins. I think they could be, again, 8 million. Ollie Watkins, opening fixtures, all right. Newcastle away ain't exactly great, but can I see them scoring? Yeah. Then they've got Everton and Burnley. Fuck me. I can see Ollie Watkins getting double-digit returns in those 2 games. Liverpool away. It's a horrible fixture. I mean, although their history against Liverpool is actually very, very good. Crystal Palace at home, Chelsea away, Brighton at home. I think Ollie Watkins could be the striker where everybody's thinking, why didn't I think of him in the pre-season? Genuinely. I really do think that, and I think if anybody goes with Ollie Watkins to start with, I think you could be a genius. I think you could be up there with, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Sessions. No, because I want Matty's saying get rid of Shaw, bring in Gabriel. I don't want Gabriel. I want Shaw's attacking potential. We saw what Shaw did last year. He was brilliant. Matty thinking Wolves manager or Bournemouth manager to be sacked first. I don't know anything about the Bournemouth manager. I think they are probably going to be a team in which they're resigned to the fact they're going to be relegated. I think they're going to be resigned to the fact they're going to be relegated and they're not interested. Nasty Ball saying good evening. Gravy Dave saying Watkins is in my Sky team. Yeah, I'm quite happy with my Sky team, to be honest. I think that it is An interesting game. It requires a lot of planning. I say a lot of planning. It doesn't require that much planning at all, to be honest with you. It's pretty straightforward. So here is the list of individuals that will be part of the YouTube chat league. Like I said, I'll be revealing that all tomorrow. But pretty much it works out to be about 70 odd players that are going to be involved. Again, I reiterate this point. There are people that I've removed because last season they were non-existent, and there are actually people that have come out and actually said that they openly admit that they don't really interact with the show. They'll watch, but they don't interact. So I have removed certain individuals. It will piss a few people off, but at the end of the day, we have got the Rivals League. The Rivals League is there for people who are just, we know for fact, are fans of the show. We know that for fact. And then obviously we've got the Members League as well, and if you do want to support the show and become a member, you're more than welcome to. The members videos will start getting uploaded throughout the season once it all kicks off, and it'll be all the usual personalized videos and me dipping into the members chat and talking about what the guys in the members chat are talking about, and just, you know, spending God knows how long just, well, yeah, doing members videos. So looking forward to that as ever. I reiterate this point that tomorrow me and Jason will be streaming again. So we'll all of us will be making sure that get your phone calls in. I don't even know who it was, to be honest with you. There was a guy, because if you remember last week, Jason accidentally it happened to me the other day, and then it happened to him. He accidentally pulled out his internet cable. So it's one of those where, unfortunately, we had to cut it short last week, and I actually chatted to a guy after stream about work, and I just said to him, if you want to come on, please come on next week. And there was a few others that we said, look, you've been in the waiting room for a while now, just join in the waiting room and we'll chat with you next Monday. So yeah, make sure you get into the waiting room early. We'll try and get onto the phone calls as quickly as possible, but reality is, like I say, I don't speak to Jason much. I'll send him the odd message here or there about work or how he's getting on and stuff, but the only time we really catch up is when we do streams. I know he's working behind the scenes to upgrade all the graphics and all that nonsense, so I think at some point next week perhaps me and Jason will be hooking up. We'll be hooking up, and we will be sorting out the graphics for the stream and everything, and updating them. And I think when it comes to the YouTube page itself, he's going to be changing all that. I mean, I said to Jason, I don't even know. No, I can't. I was even saying to Jason the other day about my experience watching. So when you go on to our YouTube channel, I don't know if this is just on the website. I think it's the website only, but you'll be presented with a channel video, and it's just an insight into what Elite FPL is all about. And it is, because of the music that accompanies the emotions that is being portrayed or being shown on camera. It really does inspire me from a personal point of view about why I love doing what we do and how passionate we get regarding the stream. And it goes back to what I was saying at the start of the stream regarding virtual FPL and how we all, have so much fun just quite literally creating these rivalries and actually getting people getting annoyed by Jason. Because that's what happens with Jason. Jason's the one that winds people up, whereas I'm the one that just gets angry. You're joking. You get angry, do you? And yeah, I just find it absolutely fantastic when Jason's in that mode, in that piss take mode of just winding people up, and really just and I'm personally really hoping that Jason and I have a really good season, so that we can both just enjoy it for once, rather than like the usual of just misery, and then the last 10 game weeks, all of a sudden it just picks up. Because barring 2 seasons ago, so not last season but the season before, when I had an okay rank, me and Jason were in such a fight. And even last year, Jason wasn't in the right headspace. There was a lot of private issues going on, and from my point of view, there were a lot of private issues going on again. And it's very difficult. I know Lama can attest to this. It's very difficult when you are going through issues outside of this, your hobby, and it is affecting the hobby. And unfortunately, you're wanting to provide some form of entertainment or content for people that enjoy the stuff, but your headspace just isn't there, and you don't want to be doing it due to whatever it may be. In my case, it was work. I've already discussed on the Total Stever podcast my issues with Tesco's, and then obviously I'm now in a new job, and I'm just, like I say with my podcast, they're just a comedic take on my own self-detriment. Is it? Self-detriment look at myself, but it's all there for laughs. It's not like oh my god, Steve-O's being too serious. Like, I saw someone, I can't remember who it was, they sent me a message, and I'm like, dude, it's a joke. If you can't see this as being a joke, just stop listening. Please stop listening. There is no point in going out your way and legitimately messaging me saying words to the effect of, I don't think I can listen to your podcast. It's too angry. Yeah, that's the joke. Because as Cy Powell said, not that he's watching this, as Cy Powell said, listening to his podcast is just basically a bloke telling us exactly how we all feel at work, dealing with these fucking lazy pieces of shit. We're all there. We all have a working class job, no matter what it is. Now, unless you're one of those, I couldn't do this, but unless you're one of these individuals that works from home, again, I couldn't do it. But if you are someone like me that has to work as part of a team, or you work with individuals, even though ironically, when I actually get through the training, I won't actually be directly working with anybody. But the point being is that when you are working with individuals, or more specifically, you're interacting with individuals on a regular basis, you will get frustrated by a lot of things. I even did my office podcast. This is the first series 1, episode 1, but season 4 of the Total Stever podcast. I'll be reviewing The Office and Extras, and reviewing the first episode, and pretty much I realised I don't even need my notes, because like with the wrestling pods, I'm just kind of going through each episode, playing a clip from the scenes that I'm talking about, and just using real life anecdotes about how David Brent represents, my former store manager, or how Gareth represents a former member of staff I work with, or how Ricky, as in the temp, represents someone like me. And then you got Tim, that represents an individual who's been there for many, many years and is just getting frustrated by the system and is just sick to death of his job. And then you got Dawn, who's the love interest of Tim. And then you got the rivalry between Lee and Tim and Dawn. And, I relate it with certain individuals in my life. And that's what I'll be doing with the Office podcast. And with extras, when it comes to extras, I'll be literally kind of... what's the word I'm looking for here? I can't even think of the fucking word. But it'll be how it's like for Elite FPL. So for instance, the BAFTA episode, that'll be when we did when we won the Fantasy Content Award. Commiserations, Steve-O. Well, we're not in it for the awards, are we? But you see, as Oscar Wilde once said, when we're looking from the gutter, we're looking at the stars. Yeah, you'll be seeing stars in a minute, you big puff. Sorry? Oh, fucking hell. It's going to be shit, by the way. But if you are a fan of The Office and Extras, you may be interested in listening into it. And how The Office has affected my life, and how certain scenes and famous quotes, and you know, for instance, in the opening scene, Sammy, you old slag. The Brentmeister General. Fuck me. How is Elaine? She left you yet? Oh. Forgot about that. Just mental. And just seeing how a man is so desperate to impress the bosses. Just desperate to impress the bosses. FPL Harry, I'm glad you're here. I was desperate for you to be here, because when I watched you on the Juice show, which was fantastic, all I kept doing in my room, lying in that bed right there, was this impression of you. It was the pickle challenge, and all I heard in the distance, because I don't know, they were focusing on Ash or Nick, I think it was Ash, and all I heard in the distance was this: no, I really don't want it, mate. I really fucking mental. And that bit where you did the guess the player, and you had, I forget who you had now, and you went through every single midfielder, and was it Pascal Gross? Yes, it was, because Semi-Casual had bloody the Harrison Reed. I mean, why on earth they picked that? All right, Steve, don't have a go at me, mate. Why they picked a player like Harrison Reed? I mean, even when I looked at it, I was like, obviously I knew the name, but I'm like, who? Who the fuck is going to get Harrison Reed? An FPL trophy. Is it FPL trophy or FPL merch that's number 1 with 7 seconds? But yeah, your appearance on, I'm really enjoying the Juice show with the guest appearances. It's fucking brilliant. And what was it? You had to get an Uber. I had to, yeah, it was Pascal Gross, yeah. Yeah, but when you say you didn't want the pickle, it wasn't I didn't want it. It was like adamant. Keep away. Keep away from me, mate. I'll tell you what is good about the FPL casuals as well. It's going to sound really weird, but rather than like a tiny little box screen like you've got here, wait a minute. That's really difficult to do. Like this, that you can see on screen now. Because you can actually see the actual person in this studio. It just makes it so much more real. I know that sounds ludicrous, but let's get real here. Most FPL channels, including Harry's, it's just a camera like this, really close up. Whereas in their case, it's a studio. You see the person, you see what they look like, and it's brilliant. Like I say, it's more personal, but all I was doing, no, you're right, mate. No, you're right. But going back to with extras, I will be, so with The Office, it will be my experiences within a working environment in Tesco's and comparing individuals to X, Y, and Z that I've worked with, and using anecdotes about, I don't know, practical jokes or whatever, and scenes that I think, like for instance, one of the scenes that I think is absolutely genius in The Office is with the stapler, not just in the jelly, but when Tim throws it out and he's like, says Garrett, actually Garrett, just a play on words, and what if I killed someone? Why would a murderer put his name on the weapon to stop people from stealing it? Fucking hell. Gold dust. But yeah, when it comes to extras, it's just going to be about, you know, when he gets the contract. And someone's pleased with himself. Oh, why would that be? Oh, it's not because we've gone onto YouTube. YouTube made you into a content creator. Yeah, they have, yeah. You're not any good. Well, YouTube seemed to think so. Sorry, Greg, you look a bit pale there. What's your name again? Never got your name. Give us your number. 07, all the O's. Fucking hell. And the tramp in the street. Love the show, Steve-O. How's he seen my show? I do that line all the time. My favourite one is always, though, fans. Steve-O! Fans. Fucking ludicrous, isn't it? Absolutely fucking ludicrous. Hello, chat sport. More like chat shit in this case. Yes, the YouTube video. Watch the latest one, Matty. After this, the YouTube video I put up yesterday regarding the angry white van man that was deliberately blocking off the outside lane because he didn't want me to overtake. I couldn't undertake because I was behind another van, and I couldn't because the car to my left was also doing 35 miles an hour. But then the second that there was a moment when I could overtake, the van decides, oh, I'm not going to allow that to happen, so I'm going to speed. I'm now going to do 48 miles an hour in a 40. Fine, why don't you just do that in the first place? No, just do 35 and a 40 in the outside lane. Because what you don't see, because obviously I don't have a rear camera, so you don't see what's happening behind me. Hence why I'm kind of almost commentating on my way through. I need to find out actually how I make the sound quality a bit louder. I don't know how I would do that, but anyway. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I've been going on for about an hour now, and people are getting bored. So yeah, so tomorrow I'll be revealing who is in the YouTube chat league. Like I said, it'll be this piece of paper here. Right there. All there. Like I said, it's about 70 names or so. Just to give you a couple of examples of who is going to be in it that wasn't in it last year. Cinnamon, Kevin Kelly, PM, Matty, he's just here, Matty. That's the name 4 that are brand new to the league. And there will be a few that have already been removed. So, on that note, I'm getting out of here. Cheers all for watching. If you've enjoyed the stream, hit the like button. If you enjoy what we do, simply hit the subscribe button. But make sure, more importantly, you come and see us tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. See you later. Maybe I should look at the camera when I say that. See you later.